Am I supposed to be logged on? Because I have my laptop here, but I think you said. Just, I don't see.
Okay, we are ready.
All right, welcome to the November 13, 2025 meeting of the Health and Environment Committee. My name is Rebecca Cod and I'm the chair of the committee. Tonight, we are joined by Assistant District Manager Brendan Berth. I think you almost got a promotion here, Brendan. This meeting is called to order at 6:33 p.m. As a reminder, New York State law requires all committee members who are not able to attend the meeting in person to have their cameras on and first and last names displayed from the time the meeting is called to order until the time the meeting is adjourned. Members of the public, are there any members of the public?
There are a few on.
Members of the public who are attending virtually, you can raise any questions or comments that you have through the Q&A feature of Zoom. Members of the public who are here in person, you can raise any questions that you have by raising your hand. If there is time following the committee's discussion, we will field questions from the public. So for tonight's meeting, we need a volunteer to take the meeting. Is Kat signed in yet?
Kat just sent an email saying that she's running a few minutes behind.
All right, can I volunteer Kat to take the minutes, even though she is not here? Then I am volunteering Kat Valero to take the minutes. You gotta do it sometimes. I don't know if she's done it for any other committee or not, but let's go with it. You are. No, I was just gonna say I'm volunteering you to take tonight's meeting minutes if you can.
Okay.
I'll send you a template.
I don't have a computer, so I'll be doing it
Yeah, that's fine. I'll send you a recording.
by hand.
Yeah. It's easier than it sounds.
It's okay.
Committee member, we will now take attendance by roll call. Brendan will conduct the roll call.
Committee members, I will call your name. Your name is called, please say present. I'll announce if there is quorum. Marty Barrett.
Present.
Elvie Barosa.
Present.
Liz Burr. I am not hearing from. Barack Friedman.
Present.
Gloria Hay.
Present.
Rupal Kakad.
Present.
Kevin O'Keefe will be with us tonight. Rubin Siddiqui.
Present.
And Kat Valero.
Present.
We have a quorum.
All right. So tonight's agenda, there's been some changes. We're kind of going with the changes that have happened in the last little bit of like a little while ago, last few hours, yeah. So we did have Bellevue present as part of the agenda item today, but there was an emergency and that had to be taken off the agenda item. We also had so that's the agenda item, but we're gonna move a few things around. We're gonna start with the discussion of legislation of medical aid in dying first, because Stop the Chop people who are presenting are not here yet. And then somebody from Senator Fahey's office for Creighton legislation will be joining us at 7. So we're gonna start with number 3 first. All right, so does anybody have any objections to adopting the revised agenda?
No.
Seeing no objections, the revised agenda for tonight's meeting is adopted. The minutes from October 9 meeting were distributed ahead of time by the board office. If there's no objections, we will adopt the minutes as drafted. Members of the committee, if you object to adopting the minutes, raise your hand. Seeing no objections, the minutes from the October 9th meeting are adopted. They will soon be available on the CB6 website. In order to conduct an efficient meeting, let's observe a few ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. Committee members who are here in person, if you have a question about the committee business, we wish to make a motion, please raise your hand. I will identify you and you can speak. Committee members unable to attend in person, if you have any questions about the committee business, you may raise your hand through Zoom and I will identify you so you can speak. All committee members, it is extremely important that only one person speak at a time so that members of the public watching at home can understand what is being said by each committee member. The chat function for the committee members present via Zoom should not be used for committee business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us to any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud on the record during the meeting. All right, now on to tonight's agenda. So first one we're gonna discuss is the legislation, medical aid in vetting. Yes, Marty.
In the title, you should add S-138, since it's more than just A-136.
Okay.
Because it passed the assembly
Yeah,
and
it
it passed
passed
the
both.
Senate,
Okay,
so both of those, both should be in the title.
all right.
Also, as the,
Sorry, Marty, could you say that again, so that way I
well, you
can,
have S-138 and it's A-136.
and I'll make that change in the first whereas.
Marty, just want to explain that. What the difference is? You want to just explain that?
Well, the bill was, the same bill was passed in both the Assembly and the Senate. And so when we're presenting a resolution, we should have all the facts.
Why is it different numbers? Just want to explain.
But one is one is a Senate bill.
Okay.
It's presented by a senator and sponsored by other senators and then voted on in the Senate. And the A bill, which was from the Assembly, was presented by an Assembly member and co-authored or whatever by other Assembly persons. There were times when there are bills on the same topic that are a little different. And there's a group of people that work it out to try to get the wording the same. That bill was put on the governor's desk, and that there should be a whereas, or at least towards the end of that first whereas, it should be, and has been presented to the governor for signature.
Oh, I thought it hadn't.
Yeah, no, it's been there. When I asked, somebody at,
Katie Lowe.
yeah, at the board meeting, you know, she didn't know if the governor was gonna sign it or not, or anything about it.
Yeah, can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead, Ellie.
Yeah, it has been on the table of the governor since July.
But I thought once it's delivered to the governor has like 14 days to make a decision.
Correct.
So if it's been there since July, then we're well past that 14-day deadline.
Doesn't mean that it's dead.
It doesn't mean that it was signed or not.
Yeah, also, yeah. Actually, never mind.
It is possible that she doesn't sign it and the session is totally over. And then it's dead until the next session and it has to go back through the assembly. Then there'd be new numbers.
Okay.
It would go back through the Assembly and the Senate.
Okay.
That says it wasn't delivered though.
Correct.
It was
Yeah,
not.
so it's not been delivered according to that tracker. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I think we should rely on that.
Yeah. Yeah, because if it has been delivered, then it would start that 14-day clock. And if the clock hasn't been started, my understanding is that the staffers are talking with, like, the staffers who wrote the bill and governor staffers, the two are trying to talk to come up with, trying to figure out where the governor is gonna land on it, because they're not gonna deliver it to her desk unless they know one way or the other where it's gonna land. So I think they have until the end of the year to make that decision. That was my understanding of the process.
Okay, sounds good. I was misinformed that it had been delivered and was just sitting there. And that, she's under pressure from the Catholic Church.
I mean, she might be under pressure from the Catholic Church, and that may be the reason why she hasn't made a
Yeah.
decision yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Could be
That's-
that.
Officially been delivered
Oh, yeah,
because of that.
okay. But yeah, if nothing gets delivered until the end of the year, then like you said, it just dies and then it comes back up with different numbers.
Well, no, it has to go through the.
I mean, yeah, it
process.
has to go through the process
Yeah.
again, pass again, and then with different numbers in the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that, like, this stuff about, like, the whole delivered to the governor thing, we got clarity on this from actually someone at Assemblymember Epstein's office last year when there were questions about a piece of legislation that had passed both chambers but had not been delivered to the governor yet. So the fact that it hasn't been delivered to the governor yet tends to mean that the governor hasn't made up her mind yet.
All right, any other suggestions or changes? All right, so anybody else have any other suggestions or changes? Then do we call for a vote?
Can I make a
Yeah.
comment? I
Absolutely.
just anticipated nobody asked the question, but anticipate somebody might ask, are there any safeguards?
I believe there are safeguards on
So
them.
I took a picture of the safeguards, and
Okay,
there's a lot of them.
all right.
Are you guys interested in them or just not relevant?
Interested in that.
Okay. So the process requires both initial oral and subsequent written requests to the attending physician by the patient. Patient has to be 18 or over and have a terminal illness confirmed by 2 physicians, have a prognosis of 6 months or less. They also have to have decision-making capacity and make a voluntary informed request free from coercion. The physicians must counsel the patient on alternatives such as palliative care and hospice. The patient has to voluntarily self-administer the medication. The healthcare providers can refuse to participate, but then they have to transfer the patient within their facility or to another facility for the care. And then there's legal protections for the healthcare providers who are doing it. So there's quite a lot of
So can we maybe add like a few of those saying? In
Yeah.
like some safeguards, including but not like, some safeguard including not a full list. And some of the things you said.
Top, you know.
Yeah, like some of the top
Main
ones. So
things,
because I
yeah.
feel like that is,
Yeah.
that might come up at the full board.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah, I was kind of anticipating it, so I kind of took a picture. of
Yeah.
safeguards.
Yeah, there are a
So-
few safeguards here. Are there other ones that
Including
you
mental
would like to add?
like more specifics, like you said, prognosis of less than 6 months, right? The patient has to be able to administer the medication themselves.
Yeah,
No coercion. There was a couple of other things you
they have to
mentioned.
be 18 or older.
18 and older, yeah. So
Yeah.
I think those are kind of like the key important ones that I think we should kind of also specify.
Have to have a terminal illness.
Terminal illness with prognosis of less than 6 months, I think you
Yeah.
said, yeah.
Mhm. Anyway,
And then being able to administer the medication yourself, I think that
Yeah.
might be an important one because,
right.
yeah.
So it's a lot different than what Canada recently passed.
Oh.
Yeah, it,
Canada recently passed, you're not necessarily dying,
Yeah.
but.
you just want to end your life,
You're ready.
yeah,
Yeah, I haven't done
Yeah.
that. Started, so.
okay.
Considering I had it
Mental.
put my pussycat for 16.5 years.
And I think you did mention that
Sleep
primary care
deprivation.
physician has to be mentioned at two visits or something like that?
I don't think I said anything about primary care.
Or a physician, rather.
Yeah. There, and also
But you
who,
have to have the diagnosis?
yeah, to have to make the diagnosis that it's 6 months or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's more too.
What was the first one you read, I think?
But you have to have oral and written requests to the attending physician by the patient.
Okay.
quite a lot.
Yeah, so I think this makes it, yeah, go ahead,
So I
Brent.
guess just a question for the committee is, are these the safeguards the committee wants listed? Are there other ones?
But we want to mention that this isn't a full list.
Mhm. Yes,
So it includes, but not, fully.
including, but not limited
Yeah.
to mental competence, terminations, and coercion, being 18 and older, any kind of trauma, blah, 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 being able to.
I think that makes, yeah, I think that makes it. Like, that adds that safeguards, and I think that might make people feel a little bit more comfortable, yeah. And does that still fall under the reference number one, which was?
Reference number one is the bill itself.
Oh, yeah, so then it would fall under there, yeah,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, so any other changes or anything else that anybody wants to add to this? All right, so. Let's see. We will,
How about something where, whereas we humanely, allow our pets to expire with dignity. It should, why can't we, humans have the same dignity, something to, I say this because I had to put my cat to sleep this week.
oh, sorry.
My condolences.
My condolences.
It's terrible, 16 years.
Aw,
Remember the
Yeah.
family.
yeah,
I think that could kind of weaken it because
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, maybe.
yeah,
talking about putting cats to sleep versus putting,
your grandma
yeah. Or your,
or your loved one.
Very
Their
sad.
spouse,
yeah, good.
yeah,
But the
Alright.
person has to make that decision. No one's making this decision for anybody.
yeah.
The
Alright,
person
yeah,
has
that's
the
true, because
decision.
this one, it does say that you yourself have to
And be
make that,
capable of
be
making
capable of
that
saying
decision.
it twice, like in written and verbally, so.
And be,
Yeah.
mentally capable.
And
Yeah.
how would somebody with ALS be able to write this?
But that's part of the safeguards, right? Like you have, if you know you have ALS, you have to have said this before, I guess it got to the point.
It must be.
I say this because the Times today had an
Yeah.
a full page article on ALS.
So let's, motion to vote, let's call a motion to vote on this resolution. Second, all right. We will now vote on, the resolution, so yeah, I think. So, I do this or Brendan, you do this, the roll call?
Yeah, I'll call the vote.
All right, so it's been seconded.
Okay, when I call your name, please say whether you are in favor, opposed, abstain, or not entitled. Marty Barrett,
In favor.
Elvie Barosa,
In favor.
Barack Friedman,
In favor.
Gloria Hay,
In favor.
Rupal Kakad,
In favor?
Ubin Siddiqui,
Abstain.
and Kat Valero.
In favor.
With 6 committee members in favor and 1 abstention, this resolution passes out of committee.
All right, so now moving on. Stop the Chop is ready.
ready.
Excellent, we're ready. We just started.
doing?
All right, so we will now move on to the presentation for Stop the Chop. I think this,
People.
this is where the microphone is, so if you sit kind of one of these chairs, it'll make it easier for people
That's what I'm
to
saying, I just-
online to hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, also let me know if you want me to direct the slides or if you want a quick.
I may even not go through like the whole slide deck. We sent this enormous slide deck and it's more of a distraction maybe. We may flip to a couple of things really quickly. You can leave that up for right now. The Stop the Chop logo, so people know who we are. We'll probably do a couple of them, but question is, I'm a substitute. How long do you want? I can do 5 minutes. I can do an hour. I don't think you probably have an hour.
Let's do about 8 to 10 minutes and then we can leave some room for questions.
Yeah, there will be lots of questions. It's a simple issue and it's a complicated issue. So maybe like dying is. So my name is Andrew Rosenthal. And I'm president of Stop the Chop. You can go to the next slide. So Stop the Chop is a 501c3 nonprofit, all volunteer grassroots organization. We now have, I'll call thousands of people who subscribe to our newsletter and a fraction of that donate. But we have a lot of activists in many communities across New York and a very active group in New Jersey also, hence the NYNJ in our name. This is a group that was formed in 2014, was very successful in 2015, getting a bill almost passed through City Council, which would have shut down some of the tourist industry in New York. Bill de Blasio went in the back room and cut a deal which reduced the number of flights coming out of New York, but didn't give us what we would have gotten out of the City Council. We call it the de Blasio Compromise in 2016. Stop the Chop went dormant for a couple of years. And then a friend of mine, Melissa Elstein, and I reinvigorated it and have really been working nonstop for the last 5.5 years to what I thought would be a 1-year thing, because everybody we talk to says, yeah, this is terrible. It's fixable. This is a problem, unlike many problems, that's fixable at the stroke of a pen, if our electeds had the will, and some of them do. We have great support at the federal level, at least New York federal level, but unfortunately that doesn't control Washington, DC. We have, great support at state similarly, but the state is the state. And so even if everybody affected says they hate it, we have to get, people in Syracuse to say that they hate it to get the bill passed. We've had more success at City Council, and we'll go through that in a minute. We have a very large coalition. You can just go to the next. So, and this isn't even everybody because it's just hard to keep up, but we have lots of park groups that have come out. If you go to the Central Park Conservancy and type in helicopter, they have a full page that's against the helicopter business. Riverside Park, Prospect Park, etc., Battery Park, all have joined the coalition. So it's a pretty broad coalition representing what I like to say millions of people, because really millions of people are impacted by this across the city. So next slide. So first question is, what are we trying to do? We are not trying to stop all helicopters from flying over New York City, just 95% of them. And that 95%, 98% is what we call non-essentials. And non-essential means tourist, which is the majority of the traffic over the city, are tourist helicopters, and charter commuter helicopters that are going out to JFK, the Hamptons, or recently the Ryder Cup, which actually had a huge impact on certain districts. So that's what we're doing. It should not, and we don't intend to harm any other kind of helicopter, news, military, police, etc., etc. So focus is on non-essential. Next slide. And we just updated these today, so I haven't seen some of these myself. Just to frame the problem, that there are 90,000 flights over the city a year. We have the busiest heliport in the world located in Manhattan. We have 3 heliports in Manhattan, thanks to Mayor Giuliani. We used to have 4. 4th was at the edge of your district here at, those of you, well, some of you old enough, right under the 59th Street Bridge called East 60th Street. There used to be a heliport there, now where you enter the park. Mayor Giuliani shut that down and said he was planning to shut all the heliports, but there were federal regulations he had to deal with. He never got to do it. So those restrictions are now gone. 2008, those restrictions expired. And so the mayor of the city right now could shut the 2 New York City heliports, which are the East River heliports, one in your district, right? East 34th Street could be shut or changed at the stroke of the mayor's pen if he deems it in the interest of the citizens. Unfortunately, we've had Mayor Bloomberg, who owns 2 helicopters and flew them. We have Mayor de Blasio, who unfortunately didn't like to stand up to the lobbyists and so tried to work out a compromise. And Mayor Adams, who thinks helicopters are cool. And, the billionaires take them and he wants to be a billionaire. So we have not gotten what we had hoped for as quickly as we hoped. Things could change very quickly in 6 weeks. If you tuned into the Democratic primary debates, there was a helicopter question asked. I don't know how it got in there. We're very happy. They asked, do you think helicopters should be limited? And they did a, lightning round. Mayor-elect Mandami said, basically our mission statement, we should ban all non-essential helicopters. So hopefully he'll follow through and do that. And that would be more than half of the helicopters come out of those 2 heliports. But we're not waiting for that to happen. And that's not going to fix the whole problem, because as you see up on the slide, there is another heliport. The third heliport is West 30th Street in the Hudson River Park, right by Hudson Yards. Anyone who bicycles by that or walks over there, you gag on the fumes in most days, because it's just this big cloud of diesel exhaust that surrounds it, or not diesel, jet fuel exhaust that surrounds it. Anyway, that park was created in the late 90s and is specifically designed to be controlled by the mayor and the governor together, and they jointly have to act. So even if one is passionately against helicopters, the other can veto anything, and vice versa. So I think everybody that we talked to, even the Hudson River Park people, think, when the park was created, the original act of the state was the heliport has to move. That was late 90s, 98. They then operated legally. There was a lawsuit. Then there was an amendment to the law. They're technically legal at this moment. It's allowed in the park. So it's gone back and forth. Brad Hoylman did get a bill passed and signed last year, which is supposed to move the helipads onto barges, which will at least get them a few feet from the path. But the cloud of exhaust is going to be there, and the noise that we all suffer from is still going to be the same. So that's, it's an inch, but it's not really what we're looking for. There's also quite a few helicopters and growing coming from outside of Manhattan proper, and that's Kearney, Linden, really the 2 places where people keep helicopters. None of them overnight here. People store them in a number of heliports, but that's kind of the general picture. But just start to do the math of 90,000 or 80,000 flights, 1,500 flights a week. That's over 200 flights a day. If you live in certain neighborhoods, like where I live, or Battery Park's even worse, you have a helicopter going by sort of in the 12 hours of the reasonable day, let's say from sort of 8 to 8, you have a helicopter going by every 3 or 4 minutes. And, there's lots of research on our website, and I was just reading today's New York Times has a obituary on a woman who did one of the seminal studies on the impact of noise on children. Arlene Bronzoff, who was a supporter and a friend of ours and a donor. Noise is horrible. It's a silent killer, like high blood pressure or secondhand smoke. And it's just underappreciated as the impacts. But, all of us, your brains evolved, your DNA with this fight or flight, right? When you hear an explosion in your apartment in the middle of the night, you wake up because your brain is listening and is processing 24/7. You never shut it off. You can't shut it off if you want it. Your blood pressure goes up every time a chopper goes by, not to mention all the other impacts of that it has, negative health impacts. So this is a real problem. You can go to the next slide, I guess. Any questions on this? I'll just stop, because this is, I think, important to sort of understand the overview, but how frequent these flights are. And there are testimonies from City Hall council hearings years ago from tenants of one of the unions at 55 Water came in to testify on their own behalf and said, we have people that can't come to work because when the fumes blow across from Pier 6, the downtown Manhattan or Wall Street heliport sucks into the HVAC system, people are getting sick. I mean, so and I could go on and on and on. It's just, has so many impacts. Every time I talk to someone, it's like, I can't go in my backyard, depending on where you are, not necessarily in this neighborhood, as many backyards as Brooklyn, and have a conversation because, every 3-4 minutes when one goes by, I have to stop my conversation. I mean, and that goes on tens and hundreds of thousands of times a day. Sure.
Those, the Kearney and Linden, the helicopters that are coming into the city from there, are they more like tour, like Manhattan skyline tour things, or are they more like commute for rich people? Like they just want to go from
It's
there.
mostly, as in all the traffic over the city, it's mostly, 15 to 30 minute joyrides. That's the majority, okay? But there is some because no helicopters are kept here. So you've heard of Blade, maybe. They've done a lot of advertising. They became a public company a couple of years ago. They're the Uber of the skies. They don't keep any helicopters in Manhattan. So you need a helicopter to go to JFK or the Hamptons. It's probably 50% coming from Kearney. They'll call up Kearney, come on over. They then fly at ridiculously low altitudes over Jersey City and Hoboken, just devastating those neighborhoods, pick someone up at 30th Street and take them to the airport or the Hamptons. So it's a mix. So there's some of that, but there's also, we've had several fatalities,
I was
right?
just
You-
gonna ask.
Yeah,
I
so
feel like-
about every 2 years for the last 30 years, there's been just an awful, god-awful crash, right? We've had head-on collisions between helicopters and small planes on the Hudson River. We had, it probably washed down close to your district. We had the helicopter that lost power over the Upper East Side. The pilot was able to land, auto-rotate in the East River. Unfortunately, the pontoons did not both inflate, right? So one inflated, one didn't. Helicopter flipped over. 5 young people were strapped in with illegal harnesses. They could not undo, and they drowned. The pilot got out because he had a different seatbelt. And that ended up floating by here. Yeah, and we've had other things. We've had hijackings of helicopters from one of our heliports years ago. It's been a while, but there's no security. There's no TSA.
Yeah.
Right? You can just, walk on from wherever and hijack that and crash it into, Yankee Stadium full of people or a parade or Times Square at New Year's. There's just little to no security, which is another reason. It's not our number one case, but all of these things, you have to say, are we crazy? After 9/11, there was a bill in Washington that did get passed 2003, an anti-terrorism bill. The Disney company was able to get a lobbyist to insert a sentence or two. You cannot fly a helicopter or small plane over Disney World or Disneyland within 3 miles. There's a no-fly zone. That was a 9/11 based terrorist. Did we get any protection? No, that was our bill. We got nothing. So, it's clear from business people, Disney company is a very smart business operation. They know this is bad for business. This is bad for tourism. And they banned it or got it banned. We're just asking for what I say. We just want what Disney World has. That's all. It's that simple. I sort of touched upon the public health and, the pollution and, climate change. New York City is a city that's vulnerable. We're spending billions and billions of dollars on climate resistance, right? The East River Park, which I think touched your district or the edge of it, is now the next phase is going to be down towards, Wall Street Heliport, frankly, Brooklyn Bridge to the Battery kind of is the next phase for God knows how many billions. In that plan, which has been released, there's $150 million allocated to a new heliport. So we taxpayers are literally subsidizing our own torture. We're paying for it. That's our tax dollars going to create something that the vast, vast majority, I think 99% of people in New York do not want. So just another thing, and I'll stop it there. It's really, well, let me ask, I'll give you the ask. So coming here tonight, I think we've initiated this to some extent. We're looking, like you just did, a resolution, and we now have a brand new, very simple draft resolution, which I think we sent over, that we'd love a resolution in support of this. Hopefully we get enough of these. We can go to the mayor and the governor and say, the people of New York do not want this. You guys represent the people at the most basic level.
We've passed 2 resolutions in regards to helicopters.
Okay, I'm not even aware of those, I
In
don't
the
think,
90s and in the
Okay.
2000s.
before my time.
Our former board chair, and he had also been chair of Transportation Committee, Lou Sapersky, was very much involved in this.
Yes,
And
and listen, there have been numerous wins, maybe
you know,
because of
you know,
that.
we had limited the number of landings in the 34th Street.
Right, East 34th has a numerical cap and no weekends,
And we also.
except for emergency.
Yeah, and we also had one in regards to the height of helicopters. How high they had to fly and that they couldn't fly
Yep.
across
Well,
the,
that gets complicated. One thing I should have said at the beginning of this, helicopters unfortunately, the FAA and industry has created a system where once any craft, anything gets a millimeter above the ground, it's not touching the earth, it's FAA territory. New York City has 0.0 authority on height or flight plans or pretty much anything else. And the FAA has rules on height, but they've exempted helicopters from minimum heights, which is what we're concerned about. We also, to be fair, acknowledge that we have the most crowded airspace on the planet with the three major airports here. So the helicopters fly relatively and outrageously low, like coming out of Kearney, it's almost under the Newark approach route. So they come out at 300 feet or less, sometimes 200 feet. If you can imagine, you'd be at this building and they would be going by right at this level. Right? And that happens all day long if you live over there in Jersey City. So there's limits. We can ask for things and there's nothing wrong with a resolution, but you have to understand that it's simple, but it's complicated. And so, but what we can do is we control the dirt, and we've done that successfully, like you said, with the limitations on East 34th Street and with limitations on the number of tourist flights that even Mayor de Blasio did implement. And as far as we can tell, they're complying. Also over water routes. We have, just one more thing I didn't mention is legislation. We have a great bill at the federal level, which was introduced this past year. It's if we go towards the end, you might find, well, not even it's in the resolution, I had a page on it. This is the first time we've actually had a bipartisan bill, because the flights from Linden are cutting across Staten Island. And so Malliotakis, Congresswoman Malliotakis has signed on to a Jerry Nadler bill. It used to be a Nadler Maloney was your rep, I guess, at one point. So we now have a bipartisan bill, and we have Menendez from New Jersey and other people supporting it. That's the real answer. That says no helicopters within 20 miles, and that's part of the resolution here. No helicopters within 20-mile radius of the Statue of Liberty, which would pretty much cover all of New York City and the Jersey waterfront that's being just bombarded. I mean, I met somebody who is a park ranger on Statue of Liberty. I mean, they're going nuts because these things buzz around the Statue of Liberty all day long. That's their job.
Questions.
Sure.
First, I'd like to know if you have any study data that I can look at that shows the impact of the noise and the pollution
So
aspect.
we have on our website a whole health section, which has research reports from around the globe on the negative impact of aviation noise on people's health,
And the other thing I'm wondering.
shorter lifespans, et cetera, all this cardiovascular stuff. I mean, there's real research. Yeah, it's bad, but it's just bad, even if
Let's look at
yeah,
data.
it's on our website.
And the other thing, so we're talking 80,000 non-essential flights.
Right.
How many essential flights, and can you just break down what those are?
I can't give you numerically what those are. I can guesstimate because I, track them regularly, but I would say out of the, well, as I said, about 95% of the flights. So the essential flights, which are medical, police, and news, really is what we get here. Those essential flights are 5,000 to 10,000 flights a year. It's a very small number.
A year.
A year. Yeah. Now, some of those can have a big impact on certain neighborhoods, especially when we had a lot of protests going. There were New York NYPD helicopters flying at very low altitudes. I live in the Upper West Side where, when we have an event like the Thanksgiving Day Parade and the blowing up the balloons, I'll have police helicopters hovering over for 5 hours at a
That's
time.
almost 28 flights a day,
The-
not essential.
Yeah, and I may be overstating it. I don't think there's that many. The police have a handful of flights per day. They usually patrol, a couple times a
And
day.
just, my observation, because I live right on the river and I see
Yeah.
the planes coming in and out all the time. The military helicopters are terrifying and horrifying. And
They're very loud.
like them never to be near.
We are
the
not,
building.
I hear you. I hear you.
And that's what's terrifying. If you talk about raising your blood pressure,
Yeah.
just listen to 6 military helicopters.
I live on the Hudson River on Riverside Drive, so I face more or less, not exactly, the Hudson River. And, we have West Point and whatnot. And so there's, there are regular military flyovers, sometimes things called
We don't know
ospreys.
what any of those are.
Don't know. And those are really hard to get data on because a lot of times they don't even have their trackers on.
No, I believe that.
Literally, they just don't show up on the map. So there's sort of 3 levels. There's, it's nice when you have a tail number. A lot of these helicopters obscure their tail number, which is legal. The FAA again passed something very, if you don't want your tail number, and this gets back to like Elon Musk was being tracked by some college kid in Florida, if you remember. So the FAA, even before that, the FAA said, if you don't want to display your number on any of these public tracking sites, you can block it. It's literally like the do not call list. You just send us an email and we'll prohibit it. And which is, I can kind of understand why, a Bloomberg or a Musk doesn't want to be tracked and what they do. But there's, these helicopters, the Ubers and the tourist flights, no one even knows who's in these things, right? Because it changes every 20 minutes. It's ridiculous, but they do it so we can't say, this guy was the bad actor and was violating, X, Y, or Z of the rules.
In terms of building capacity for your case.
Yes.
And it's, I'm actually originally from New Jersey, so I'm glad to hear that you've actually, joint forces.
Oh, yeah, we've got a lot-
Camden, Linden, Teterboro, it's always been an issue over
Yeah.
there, but, I'm curious of the community, boards. Have you visited any in like Wall Street, and what is that, one or two? It's like.
No, I mean,
Because
no,
I
we
feel like for resolutions, we just had one.
Yeah.
It was transportation related, but it was a stronger case.
We've just
for
gone out in the last
resolution.
couple of weeks with an email blast to
Okay.
every community board saying.
Because I would suggest
we-
you do this
yeah, we don't-
with them.
We have, I actually chatted with Chris Marte yesterday, who's a council member down there, and is a supporter of ours, and so was his predecessor. I mean, this is devastating to those neighborhoods down there. I mean, we have a lot of supporters down there. I mean, it's hurting real estate values.
Yeah, just to comment that, I completely support this. It's ridiculous that people are taking 15-minute flights over our head and the noise and the pollution and for nothing.
So we have,
I
16.
totally support this resolution.
I don't know if I finished answering.
And I think she also had a.
Sorry.
One of the heliports by the hospital.
Yeah, so East 34th Street is right behind NYU Hospital.
So, and this is school over there as well, so why are you not inputting that in this and using?
No, it is, that's one of the two city-owned that we would like the mayor to shut down on today, tomorrow, or January 2nd. So we absolutely, that is in our purview. The good news about that, there's a numerical cap in force on that. They're not at the cap, but there is a numerical cap, which I think Giuliani also put in, but you may know the history of the cap. It was before my time.
It was in the 90s.
Yeah,
So it's
so
like
it,
Julia.
yeah, so I think it was Giuliani, was trying to do the right thing in terms of helicopters. I won't speak to anything else, but in terms of helicopters, he actually accomplished quite a bit, closing one of the four. So at that time, so, everything we do, we include. Now, we have to be careful. The two Midtown heliports, East 34th that you mentioned, West 30th Street, there are no tourist helicopters allowed. They used to operate tourist helicopters. Again, this is part of, you go to our website, we have, wins or whatever, victories, nibbling away, putting scratches in them if we can. And so years ago, one of our founders actually sued the Hudson River Park when they were violating the law by having a heliport. And at that time, all the tourist traffic, which used to be there, moved downtown. And then Mayor de Blasio put the numerical limit. There was no numerical limit. There used to be in 2015, there were 60,000 tourist flights out of DMH or the Wall Street heliport, that one heliport, 60,000. And it's crazy. This is devastating. I taught a class on Governor's Island, the school there, the people that work there are going crazy. Brooklyn, I was out in Brooklyn 2 weekends ago. Tabling, people were just coming up and hugging us like they're going insane. And it's just, you go everywhere you go, people are just like, why can't we stop this?
The 34th Street is a big, Hamptons heliport.
Correct. And some JFK flights, but yes, it's no tourists.
Time it. Not my-
Fridays and Sundays, right? Yeah, and we're aware of that. And then when you take off from there, it depends on who the operator is. Some of the operators actually, try and fly friendly. It's still an enormous noise if you're along the river, but they go out and stay along the water and then go out to the Hamptons. But the majority of them, the Blade flights generally, they just beeline, right down towards Floyd Bennett Field from there, cutting it right across Brooklyn. If you go to Prospect Park, you'll see those guys going right across. And then they take the water route out to the Hamptons.
All right.
And devastate communities out there, by the way. The impacts of our heliports have been felt, and there's been a 25-year battle in East Hampton where they did try and pass some sensible, very minor restrictions, like no helicopters after 11 p.m. kind of thing, right? Like, okay, that seems reasonable.
Yeah.
The industry sued and won. And basically the judge said to the town of East Hampton, which owns the heliport, you can't do anything other than shut it. They could shut it, but that's all they can do pretty much. You can't do this. And again, it's a little bit complicated, but that's where it stands. And I don't know what's gonna happen in East Hampton, but our helicopter traffic is also devastating people out there. It devastates people all across Long Island, depending on the route they fly, et cetera, et cetera. So they're. Did I fully answer your question? You were asking how many
Yes.
non-essentials? I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a very small fraction. Just also don't be fooled. Blade likes to come in and say, well, the majority of our business is medical. Blade, a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they bought the largest medical helicopter business in the country. So they have an enormous medical helicopter business that operates, in like the 50 states.
That's not out of 34th.
That's not out of New York City. So in New York City, the majority of their business is taking people to JFK.
Yeah. All
Right?
right, so I think we're in, oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Brent.
And, like, some context that might be helpful there. I vaguely remembered a few years ago, NYU Langone Health sending the community board data in terms of like how many helicopters for like heart and liver and lung transplants, like coming
Correct.
to 34th Street. This is from 7 years ago, so I had this disclaimer.
Well, the volumes there have been relatively constant because of limits. So I don't even have that number. I'm learning.
Yeah, but, according to NYU Langone Health's own data, there were 66 helicopter trips in calendar year 2018. That were helping with lung or heart or liver transplants, 66.
66.
That's one per week.
Yeah, yeah.
So just for some context.
We have now 1,500 a week flying over our skies. And maybe there was,
It's like,
if you were, I don't even know where you'd fly into if you were sending a heart up to Columbia
That's-
Presbyterian. It might be West 30th Street. So they might get
Yeah.
another 66, right?
that's
But
like 5 or 6 a month.
It's close to zero,
Yeah.
and we are very
Yeah.
happy to keep East 34th Street open for that business. There's
Yeah,
no issue.
yeah, that's like 5 or 6
By the
flights.
way, most hospitals, I think around the country, often, they have their own heliports,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They have an H on the roof, because
Yeah.
they don't get many. There's one right across the river from me that occasionally gets a delivery. So there are ways to do this without even having a dedicated heliport staffed 24/7 for your once a week. And it's probably frankly quicker to land them on the roof and take them down an elevator than put them in an ambulance, take them to the emergency
Yeah.
room. So,
We used to have a heliport on the MetLife building,
yes,
Mm.
yeah, I remember. My dad actually flew into that.
and,
Do you know what happened there?
Till it crashed, and a blade went out into the street, among other things.
Yeah, people died
Yeah.
right down on the street on Park Avenue.
Right.
It was actually the landing gear collapsed. When they landed, it
It
tipped
was,
over, the blade shattered and
80
shards went down and killed people on the
85, I
street.
believe it.
All
Yeah,
right, so I believe just overall consensus, I think we're in support of this resolution.
I'd like to see the resolution.
Yeah.
Oh.
so maybe we put that
Yeah,
on the screen. It's,
We can send it to the everybody at the in the committee that you did forward the draft resolution.
we just
like
did
what
today
they-
to be,
like,
so
Yeah,
apologize.
It was-
I wanted to condense it and make it really simple and easy and universal for people. So we can get, 30, whatever, how many
Yeah.
community boards there are.
so we can forward this to everybody at the end of the meeting, and then if anybody wants to like kind of modify it to kind of fit more of our district and present it at the next meeting,
Yeah,
we can do
put
that,
the
yeah.
December meeting.
Yeah.
Let me ask you or inform you, because you may
There's
not be.
59 community.
Yeah, 59, okay.
Yeah.
And they have, okay, because you always have the borough and then the number, right?
12 in
They're
Manhattan.
not all in Manhattan.
No, no, no,
Twelve
no,
in
no.
Manhattan,
Well,
Yeah,
No, I guess there's 5 CV6s,
yeah.
so you have to say which, what?
For them, because that not only is three communities.
Oh, okay, sorry,
Okay.
for them. Anyway, so, yeah.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is there's one more thing I could have talked about in the legislation. There's a piece in the slide here. There is a bill in Albany, which has passed the Senate twice, which not only addresses or tries to address helicopters, but I think in your district, you have seaplanes.
Oh,
We
yeah,
do.
wow.
Yeah,
And it's not gonna fix the whole problem, but it'll put a dent, hopefully. It is a tax on seaplanes and helicopters. And I I think it was Senator Gonzalez, who's a little further north of this district, so she's up in more Harlem, I think straddles either into Queens or the Bronx. But it's bothering her district, these seaplanes, and it would be well, there's two bills. One is $50 a seat or $200 a flight, which is, the greater of. There was another version of the bill which doubled that, had $100 per seat and $400 a flight minimum. I personally don't think that's going to do much for the seaplane traffic. It will impact, others like tourists, when you're going out for a $200 tourist flight and now it's $250 or $300, the elasticity, Econ 101, it's going to reduce the volume. And she did say this is a start. The goal here is, feeling is it'd be difficult to put them out of business within a law in Albany. This is at least a way to start to throttle down the volumes, and bring in some revenue for good things. So that, I just want to put that on the table. We
It's
are,
been passed now.
no, well, in the Senate,
Oh,
it
And
has.
both of those are mentioned in that draft
Right.
resolution.
So I
that
just
they
wanted,
sent
because
to
if you have a
Senate.
seaplane thing, and we have some supporters that are all over the seaplane
The
thing.
Assembly and Senate bill numbers and everything is listed in there.
Yeah, so that's the one thing, and that this is not our focus, to be honest, it's not the job, but we are fully supportive of that bill because listen, we would support it. It's just not our focus to focus on seaplanes, but there is a bill that is joint. And so the problem with that bill is the Assembly. We've never gotten it to a vote in the Assembly, and that's Carl Hasty has stuffed it. And so, your Assembly person, I don't know if that is, it was.
We have four.
Really two.
Well, you had Harvey, is he part of this district?
Yeah, but he
Okay.
just won his city council race,
Right.
so
And Alex
that,
Forrest.
yeah,
Yeah,
so,
Alex Forrest is the northern part.
yeah.
anyway, if you can implore upon your Assembly people in particular, that's where it's gotten stymied. And again, not gonna fix it. And I think for the seaplane set, because I don't even know what those tickets cost, but I'm sure it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. They're just gonna pay it, whatever it is, but at least they're starting to pay some of their externalities, right? At least they're starting to pay some into the coffers of the people that they torture. So,
Seaport, Seaplane Port is at 23rd Street.
yeah,
Alright.
And the EDC owns the property.
yeah.
So.
Well, the city does. That's the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, the CDC manages it, controls it,
Yeah, and so they get money for it.
right? And
And so.
I can go over that
there's the
too.
Question, do they want to, how much money do they want to give up?
Right, well, I'm gonna give you some numbers to fight that
So
because.
Marty, are you volunteering to modify the resolution once we send it?
Oh,
there?
okay.
Yeah, we'll welcome anything that, you wanna include something on the
Certainly half
specific.
the time between now and then I'll be in St. Martin, but sure. Not taking a seaplane.
I don't know what the rent is on the 23rd Street.
Mhm.
I'm sure it's de minimis, the revenue to the city. I can tell you the busiest heliport in the world is the Wall Street Heliport, DMH, now called Skyport. They pay into the city coffers $2 to $3 million a year. During COVID, it was waived, like, oh, times are tough, we're a nice landlord, so whatever, they paid somebody off, I don't know. They didn't pay anything for a couple of years. It's nothing, because the city is responsible for maintaining Pier 6, right? So the next Hurricane Sandy, when that pier gets washed away, or we do the hurricane berm, that $150 million is coming out of our pockets. So they're never gonna cover, the $2 million, $3 million a year does not cover what the city spends to maintain that. We are all subsidizing this thing.
All right, so I hate to keep Senator Faye's office waiting any
Okay.
longer, but I think thank you so much. This was very, very informative. Like I've learned so much in the last, I don't know, 40 minutes or so.
I said I could talk for hours.
Along with the resolution to send to the committee, also the presentation.
Yeah, so we have all the extra slides also. We got it just like a little bit before the meeting, so.
Yeah, no, I apologize. It's brand.
I'll send
Yeah.
both the template resolution and the presentation around.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
So.
Thanks. a lot.
Okay, no,
Thank you very
thank.
much. It was nice meeting you and.
So
yes,
what
very
we're,
informative.
to follow up, it sounds like you guys will send this around. You may wordsmith it to your own liking.
Mhm.
Does it then, can it be passed and go before the full board
It
next
may have
month?
to go to the transportation committee.
Oh, it may, okay, so what will happen is we'll pass
I
it at
come
our
back.
I don't think that would be necessary.
Yeah,
We'll discuss it.
I
in the
doubt you have a
studio
lot of-
committee,
Yeah,
I don't think it's gonna be very controversial.
yeah,
So best
so,
case scenario,
Again,
it could be.
it's up to the board chair.
Yeah.
Best case.
That's the
that's the
best.
best case scenario,
Okay.
because the next month.
Time is
December
of the essence, because we'd like to present a packet of these to the new administration.
By, well,
Okay, so-
so January might
January.
work, yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
because we pass it at December's meeting, and then it'll go to full board in January, and then if it passes the January
Then
full
it-
board, then it
yeah.
gets. goes
One
there.
last thing I didn't really touch upon, we did succeed in getting a law enacted this past spring, first time after 5 years of working, city council, which would ban noisy, I'll use that word loosely, noisy helicopters from the city heliports. Here's the problem, starting in 2029,
Mm,
which is a long way off. The industry has already sued the city, so we're in court right now, and it's unclear how aggressive, if at all, the Adams administration is gonna defend it. So that, that took us 5 years to get that passed, and we took what we could. It's not nothing, but I don't wanna wait I may not be alive in 2029, so it's like, it's too little, too late kind of thing, or whatever. But it was at least a big moral victory, and now the industry's spending money to sue the city.
In governmental time, it's like no time at all.
I'm not a
We-
patient
you know,
person.
We've worked on things for 20 years.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And more.
Well,
to
this
get
has
things
been worked
done.
on for, when I talked to Jerry Nadler's, chief of staff, he's like, Andy, we've been working on this this is like 5 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, then you're doing something wrong.
Well, that's the way it is.
All of the whole thing being public right now, you just said.
Alright.
Anyway, I don't know if this is appropriate, but if it isn't inappropriate, I have buttons if anybody wants, or postcards to leave some of these behind. Yeah.
Yeah,
You can put these
definitely,
in your laundry rooms, or I don't even know if the office here has a place where I can leave these if that's inappropriate. I'll leave them. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so moving
Honor a
on
pinch.
Yep. we have Senator
to
Fahey's
Senator
office.
Fahey's office,
Andy, thanks. for
Yeah,
coming.
thank you for waiting, by the way.
thank you for waiting for that. So, we're here to discuss the resolution supporting the, Kratom, bill that limits or prohibits the sale of Kratom products to anyone under the age of 21. Can you kind of tell us, like, do you have a sense of where the governor is on this? Like,
Introduce
in
yourself.
yeah, please, yeah, sorry,
Oh, introduce myself.
yeah.
I'm Mitchell Cerrone. I'm the senator's legislative aide. I work closely with our legislative director on drafting and advocating for legislation. In terms of where the governor is on this bill, I mean, I can't imagine she would have an issue with it. I mean, I've said that in the past about certain things that she ended up vetoing, to be fair, but this one in particular, I think that I think that there's been a decent amount of advocacy against Kratom, which is why this bill got passed in both houses. Yeah, I mean, I can't anticipate her not signing it. So that's what I would say on that.
Okay, so do you have a timeline on like, because it has passed the Senate and the Assembly,
Mhm.
when does it get delivered to the governor next then? Like, is there?
So
some-
it gets delivered to the, sorry. It gets delivered to the governor whenever she asks for it. So, yeah, we don't deliver bills to the governor until she actually requests to have them on her desk, and then once they are, she has 10 business days to sign it, which is, I believe, every day except Sunday and holidays. Generally, she signs bills. This is around the time of year where she starts signing quite a few bills, but a lot of stuff gets signed at the last minute. So you'll see like a flurry of bills get signed in like late December. Some stuff gets signed right before January, but anything passed in 2025 has to get signed by like the end of December 31st. signed or vetoed, so.
Yeah, so you said there's a lot of advocacy and support for this, and there's numerous bills on Kratom clearly that are, on the
Yeah.
dock. So this must have been brought to your and the senator's attention a long time ago. This is relatively new to us and came to our constituent. Is there anything you can share for us to kind of understand how this all came to be so important and how
Yeah.
seeing that it's important, but we didn't know about it really for a long
I
time.
mean, it did kind of come out of, in terms of like the lifespan of issues, it was like a very fast issue. Like I think that from the time that people in the legislature first started hearing about Kratom to the time that we had legislation advance like restricting it, it was like maybe a span of like a few years. This bill in particular that we carry in the Senate and John McDonald carries in the Assembly actually originated with John McDonald. So he is the only licensed pharmacist in the New York State Legislature. And as a result, whenever different pharmaceutical or drug issues come up, a lot of people go to him first for those sorts of things. So I believe a group approached him like a couple of years ago about this, and he decided to introduce the bill, and then he asked us to carry it in the Senate.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions from anybody here? All right, there's a question from online.
Also, just before I allow this individual to speak, this is actually the individual who got this issue to speak.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, Sherry.
Hi, everybody. So, I don't have video. Okay, I see my name. Now I don't see everybody. In any event, hello, everybody. It's nice to meet you. My name is Shari Lowski. I am a clinical social worker on a foster care team. I have been aware of Kratom, unfortunately, for years. And recently in my community, I was walking down the street. Well, I've had a bunch of cases where kids are getting their hands on it and it is causing death, so to speak, for lack of a better way to put it. I happened to have been walking down the street just to go for a leisurely walk, and I saw a big sign on the side of a deli that said Kratom is available here with a big leaf on it. It was about the size of the deli wall outside. It is considered a natural substance because it is a leaf from Southeast Asia. The kids just find it to, help with their ADHD, help with their anxiety and all that kind of stuff. And they don't realize how addictive and addicting and how dangerous it is until they're unfortunately not here anymore. I hate to say that, but that's the truth. So when I saw the sign on the side of the deli, I walked into the deli like a excited little kid, so to speak, and I said, "Oh my God, you sell Kratom here? Oh my God, what is it for? Is it addictive?" And the guy answered all my questions. And he's like, "Here it is, it's $20. Would you like to buy it?" And I almost fell down because I have experienced children who've lost their lives to this because they think it's a natural herb and don't think it's dangerous at all. And the bodegas, delis, whatnot that are selling it just happen to hand it out. It's $20. And when I went into a store and I was astounded by it, they said to me, "Oh, that's why after school all the kids go to that deli." So the concerned citizen that I am, I blasted an email to everyone from you guys, the community board, all the way up to Kathy Hochul. And the community board was kind enough to respond back. And I'm thrilled because this is an extremely dangerous, what's considered natural something that acts as fentanyl. It acts as an opioid in the body when you take it. And I don't know if it's just because there's addiction out there and people are taking it, or they think it's a natural substance and it's okay to take. But based on what I've seen in my clinical practice, it's extremely scary. So I'm thrilled to death, for lack of a better way to put it, to hear that this is being discussed. It's extremely dangerous, and I have a concern for the community. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer if I can. If not, please push this bill ahead. I beg you.
Well, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. Like Gloria said, we hadn't heard of this until your email came to us, and my first response was, what is Kratom? And then I had to go looking it up myself. So yeah, this has been very educational for me as well. And then I learned there's a bunch of bills in the Senate and the Assembly. And then that's when we started talking about, well, what do we want to support? And here we are. So yeah, thank you for bringing this to us.
Oh, good. Then you have my phone number. Please feel free to use it if there's any other way that I can help them. I am more than happy to.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions or anything for Senator's office? Besides passing this resolution, is there anything else that you think that we as a community board can do to help kind of move this along?
Voicing your support to the governor's office, obviously call and email and send your support their way. But yeah, I mean, other than that, keep on doing what you're doing.
All right. Right, well, yeah.
Actually, I do have a question. I haven't read any of the bills that might have already been presented. But I was looking on the FDA website about this, and of course, it clearly states there's no prescription or over-the-counter drug products containing kratom, yada, yada. But has the senator or anybody else actually talked with the FDA about kind of collaborating forces or going on record that over-the-counter products shouldn't have kratom and it's basically saying that it's legal.
We haven't approached them directly. I did happen to read, because I was just doing some more research to refresh myself before this meeting, and I did happen to read that just recently, a few months ago, the FDA actually recommended to the DEA that kratom be scheduled, so that it be a Schedule I drug. So I'm not sure where that's at the moment, but clearly it's been put on their radar. So that is a thing. But we haven't really spoken to FDA directly. I think that just the way we go about legislating it for these sorts of things, we don't often talk to the federal government about legislation unless it sort of directly impacts or interacts with some sort of existing federal law. So yeah.
I'm just asking because you did also speak on is it John McDonald? Forgive me if the name is incorrect. Being a pharmacist, they kind of, there is some overlap with that. So, and to Gloria, who is our data expert on this community board, I want to speak to, there could be federal data, right, that supports the claims of any legislation that's going to be proposed. So that's also where my questioning is coming from too. If there's anything that supports it, that's already accessible. But I appreciate that shout out about the recommendation that they're making.
Yeah.
I think Sherry has her hand up again.
Sherry, you should be able to speak.
Okay, thank you. There are, I wish I could remember the exact number, but this is individualized right now to each state, and there are certain states that have restricted it. Does that matter?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, I think, 11 states now. I don't remember the exact which 11 states, but yeah.
The FDA is warned against using it. GNC, CVS, Walgreens do not carry it.
Yeah.
Will not carry it.
Yeah, it's the little mom and pop shops, the bodegas that seem to be delivering the substance to the unfortunate people that are receiving it, in my experience.
That's what we've seen in upstate as well. In the city of Albany especially, there's a lot of different corner stores that sell it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Otherwise, we can make a motion to vote on this
You
resolution?
want to add, whereas it is in the resolution that the FDA warns against usage of it?
Yes, whereas in February 2018, the Food and Drug Administration issued a public advisory on Kraton's use and risks associated with it.
Should we thank the senator?
It is, I think, the third whereas, yeah.
Let them go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, Senator, yeah, I think we're good. If you wanna just drop off the call, if you wanna stay for the vote, that's totally fine, but I don't wanna keep you here past any longer than you have to.
Yeah,
Can you,
well, I'm glad I was able to, answer any questions you had, and I hope the resolution passes.
Thank you for your
Thank you-
time.
Thank you
so
for your
much.
time, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good
Have a good
night.
night.
well, we have where it is accessible, do we want to also include where it's not accessible, such as GNC, Walgreens and CVS?
I prefer not to.
Yeah.
In case it F's just kind of leaks into one of those stores somehow.
Yeah, because what if
Yeah,
like they change their
yeah.
policy tomorrow, or they figure it's a profitable,
Or if they
product.
are not aware of a product that is on there,
yeah.
that's
Or-
being distributed, that
or-
have leased, because that has happened.
Yeah.
Or local, just gonna throw out different.
But I think you could say primarily, that it's being carried by,
Yeah, we can add that, whereas
Right,
if we
like where it's
want,
primary, because he's even saying it too, that's.
Smaller.
They're finding
Smaller
it.
business.
yeah.
So where's the whereas and where?
Where, we want, after the 1.7 million Americans.
So where is this, where does it say is legal and accessible and is primarily in stores, you have you have
Wait,
it
it's
there.
already,
Yeah, yeah.
Or-
Brandon, it's,
What's-
look on the one below,
Yeah,
right there,
yeah.
use of sale products.
Accessible in,
Accessible primarily in stores.
yeah,
in-
so
in
we could just
smaller
have
stores.
primarily in stores,
Yeah.
Okay, let me delete this.
yeah.
Accidental whereas. So legal and accessible primarily in stores?
Primarily in small,
Primarily
I think we
in,
wanna get specific,
small-
smaller business,
small,
business retail.
yeah, small
locations.
retail stores,
Yeah.
small,
Retail locations,
yeah,
Mhm.
stores is a.
or small
I would say
retail.
Retail.
locations, yeah.
I'd say that.
Yeah.
It's a little bit.
Yeah. Is that,
Yeah.
alright, any other changes?
You can take out the easily because you have already accessible primarily in small location. So you can
Yeah.
take out the easily.
You can omit easily right after online.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of redundant.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
Thank you.
yeah, that's. Alright. Any other changes, comments? Or motion to vote?
Commissioner.
Second.
Alright. Alright, so let's take a vote on it.
Okay, when I call your name, please say whether you are in favor, opposed, abstain, or not entitled. Marty Barrett,
In favor.
Elvie Barosa,
In favor.
Barack Friedman,
In favor.
Gloria Haig,
In favor.
Rupal Kakkad,
In favor?
Mubin Siddiqui.
She's off.
Okay. Kat Valero,
In favor.
with all 6 committee members present voting in favor, this resolution.
favor.
Oh, Mobile just said in
there she is.
favor.
So with all 7 committee members present voting in favor, this resolution passes.
Alright, so. Moving on, Chair's report, I don't really have much, except Gloria and I talked with Karen Moore and Sage Robinson at Public Affairs Department at Bellevue about hosting a health fair. It's still pretty early stages on, we're kind of thinking maybe around March to align with Bellevue's 290th anniversary. But again, early stages, we just had one meeting, so we'll probably be meeting again soon after to view the locations and stuff. And then NYU Langone Health is having an open house on Monday, November 17th. From 8:30 to 11 AM at their hospital on First Avenue and 31st Street. So if you want to attend, let us, the office know, and then we can put you, have you RSVP for that help for that open house.
Sandy and I.
I'm going.
Yes. Oh, yeah, LV, Sandy and Gloria are gonna be going to that open house, but if anybody else wants to go from the committee, just let me or Brandon know and we'll forward it over. Let's see, I think that's about it for chair's report. Any old or new business?
I don't know if this is old or new. It's probably old, but I'm gonna make it new. The sirens of ambulances is out of control,
Oh,
especially going up First Avenue.
We passed a resolution on it a couple of months ago,
And where are we with that? 'Cause I thought they were changing those some.
that was part of the resolution to change, ask to change, and all of that. We passed a resolution, what was it, about a year ago? A couple months ago? No, a couple
Yeah,
months ago.
Yeah, give me a moment and I'll check our trustee resolution tracker, because the resolution would be on our tracker.
Cause I get a very stressed response every single time I hear those.
Yeah, so
I
it
mean, I
was
think it's
our,
somewhat related to COVID too, because so many were moving up, but still, it's trauma related.
yeah, it was our April 2025 full board
Yeah.
meeting.
Who did it go to? Who were
Um,
we asking?
so it was, like we were supporting, among other things, a legislative package with regard to trying to address harmful siren noise. I need to check back to see what the status is of all this legislation, like, did any of it pass, did it all get stalled? Also for the record, like, checking on the status of these resolutions is the sort of thing that at least I think committee should be doing. So, like, if the committee is really interested in the issue of siren noise, the committee should definitely see, and like, I'm happy to help, but the committee should definitely see, like,
That once was a office function.
but yeah, like,
That was an office function.
but yeah, like, I, like, tomorrow I could definitely look into this and see, like, what happened with these bills that we supported in this resolution. Did they go anywhere? Did they stall?
Yeah.
Especially since there's going to be a new city council session starting in a couple of months.
Yeah.
So if these bills like stalled on this, in the city council,
Well,
for
thank you
example.
all for doing that. I appreciate it. Whoever's on here. Yeah, appreciate
So
it.
we can look into what the status is of that. Anything else?
Actually, that actually prompts another question related. But if there's a resolution that's passed, clearly this one passed in the spring. But there might be more levels of support that weren't included in the original resolution. Do we then have to create another resolution to pass again for the same issue?
I wanna say yes, but Marty?
We don't.
Oh, we don't?
We don't.
No, we don't. What,
Do we
what we
amend
can write,
the-
we can write a letter.
Oh, okay.
You know, the board chair could write a letter saying, you know, our resolution, blah, 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 you know, has more, has additional support from such and such, and that letter would go to the particular city council, committee that would have been focused on that.
Cause I recently went to, it wasn't actually for this specific issue, but it was like a cultural event, but it was at CUNY Graduate Studies. And there was someone that is actually studying noise at large in the city through one of their magnet schools. And I figured if they have any data, I'm looking at Gloria because she's always the data queen. If they had any data that is specific to, but specific to the medical industry, ambulance noise or other noises associated, it could be a stronger case for legislation.
Yeah, all right.
Just trying to connect dots.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Anything else? Then motion to adjourn.
No, we just want to stay.
All right, meeting is adjourned at 7:52 PM.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Fine.